how to transition into the data analysis space. I get these questions a lot. Many people asking the best way to actually transition from where they are into the data analysis space. And this is something I want to say. If you're trying to pivot into data analysis right now, you need to stop hiding your background knowledge. Okay, I see it every day in various mentorship programs. People that have 3 years of experience, 4 years of experience, or even 10 years of experience, maybe in sales, customer care, human resource, or even the banking, they try to keep away their background knowledge and where they are coming from, and just put you just see them putting like various data analysis projects they have worked on. Let me tell you this right now. You actually have more advantage than somebody that is just coming from school without even having that kind of domain knowledge. The data industry is actually looking for people that don't just know how to code, but they can be able to generate value from the data they actually have. So somebody that does not really have that background knowledge can come and write all the codes they need, all the formulas, run all the models. But because of that lack of domain knowledge, you're going to actually have a higher advantage than that person. So they have the data, and you have you have the context. So your past is not really something to hide about. It's actually a kind of a strong advantage for you to have. Let's talk about the data analyst role and how it has been evolving. If you can remember, like 2 or 3 years ago, you could just get hired because of you knew how to write SQL formulas or just clean data in Excel. That was just the technical execution part, okay? So right now with AI now, if you give AI a messy data and tell it to write a Python code to actually clean it, it will do it in 5 seconds. Maybe you now, like you use like 2 to 3 days to understand the data, know the context, and try to clean the data. Right now, AI can be able to analyze the data more than you. All right, so that means the person that just knows how to analyze data but does not have that business or domain knowledge is going to be as a disadvantage. But that's going to be an advantage for somebody that is already working in the industry and is now transitioning to be able to now learn how to now use AI to get his work done. So that means that somebody that is actually working where they are, or like in the niche you find yourself, you already know what happens in the company. You already know the bottlenecks, things you're struggling with. And now you're now trying to now learn, okay, the software tools and how you can also include artificial intelligence into what you're doing. And if you're not able to do that, then you can now be able to now translate the value the business actually needs based on the understanding you yourself already have. So that's why in this evolution of data analysis, we know that if AI is now handling the executions and dealing with several operations, what's now left for you as analyst to do? All right. So, and that is the point of you trying to have hone your skill set and at least pick a niche you want to specialize in. For those people that have not really started working, but those people that have a background in niche, you have several businesses you have been doing and several brands you have been working with in your niche. The thing is not for you to just leave your niche and just go to something else. The thing you need to actually do right now is to understand, okay, where am I? How can I include data analysis, or how can I even include artificial intelligence into what I am doing? So why I keep on speaking about this is because of you must actually know the right thing to ask the data. All right. So like, must be able to now also explain that to stakeholders, to the client, or the people that you're actually working with. So that means it's going to require business intuition. It's going to require empathy. It's also going to require domain knowledge. And these are things that somebody without a background might not actually know. And this is where you actually have experience in. All right, so let me use an example to actually speak about this. Like, imagine like somebody without the domain knowledge. He gets a data for a retail store, and the first thing he does is he just gets the data, start to create fancy charts, 20 different charts. Like, you want to go and meet the manager. Okay, this is what I have for you guys. I've done this, and done this. Hope you will like what I've presented to you. But somebody else with a domain knowledge of the retail space, maybe like you worked in retail, you work in a customer service in a mall or something like that. When you look at that same data, you're going to be able to even see customer behavior. You'll notice that maybe around 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. when like they are having like emergency issues in the community, most people don't really buy frozen food because of they will not have anywhere to actually keep them. So then you now like run your analysis and the rest. Then now go back to meet the manager and say, okay, you're losing money on fresh foods inventory because of at this particular time there is always like low power? Who do you think is adding value actually to the business? Is going to be the person that is not just coming with abstract knowledge or something the manager already knows, but somebody that is able to understand the industry. He has that background domain knowledge and can be able to understand consumer behavior. Why? Because of they have been in there. It's different what somebody inside and somebody outside is going to see. Somebody outside can just guess and based on his point of view. Somebody inside there has been able to relate, he has been able to ask questions and actually know the particular things that is actually what needed for them to do. All right, so let me just give us some other quick steps now. Many times when you go through resumes, people will just put their names and the projects they have worked on if they have not really had a role or some internship that they have actually worked on. But if you're coming from a background, maybe in customer service, in the banking space, in inventory management, there's the same way, like you're not coming to the data space as a newbie with zero, like you're not a fresh, like you hear people in the tech space say, I'm a data analysis enthusiast. You're not an enthusiast. You have 5 years of experience in the space. So now, how do we now go about it? All right, so we're going to be trying to find common backgrounds with what you're doing and how we can now translate it into like high-level analytical achievements. All right, so it's not as if you're actually saying something false. It's that you're trying to explain what you have been doing in the context of what data analysis. So it's just about how we're going to be able to now replace some words. Okay, like if you're in the customer service space, for an example, someone else will just write, I spent 3 years in customer service, answering phone calls, responding to emails, handling complaints. But now when you want to now put that in your CV as a data analyst, you can be like, I spent 3 years in working with qualitative data to track what customers' frictions and feedback. So like I can even say that what you spent 3 years analyzing what qualitative data, tracking what customers' feedback, and at least you had what retention of 12%. That gives much more context and it's actually what you have been doing. Many people think data analysis is something special that I've never heard about it before. This is just like a kind of a professional way that just emerged, and okay, there's now a traditional path known as a data analysis career. If we check various niches and businesses, everybody are keeping records and everybody are making decisions before they actually do many things like that. So you have been doing it subconsciously without the professional tag of I am a data analyst. All right. So let me use an example of somebody in the customer service industry now. Okay, let me use another example. Imagine somebody now in the human resource space now. You're writing your CV and you're saying that, okay, I am responsible for employee onboarding, managing staff files, and conducting exit interviews. When you're now putting it in the context of data analysis, you can now say I analyze workforce demographic data. So when you're writing your resume, when you're writing your CV, don't just go put Titanic projects you worked on. No, that background domain knowledge you have is something that's really important. It's part of your experience. So don't just say I'm a data analyst because of you just learned SQL like last 2 months. You now say you're not a new data analyst. You have been doing it, right? But now you're not trying to now run data analysis on various different platforms. All right. So somebody in the banking space might say, okay, I have to manage customers' accounts, process transactions, and all that. But when you're trying to now translate it better, it'd be like I conducted behavioral segmentations on customer transaction. I was able to identify cross-selling opportunities and patterns like this. It's not, yes, we know like this kind of LinkedIn flow whereby people hype. It's not about hyping yourself. Nobody is going to give you any value. Like there's nobody that goes to price something and they give you the amount and you add to the amount. Why? Because you feel like, okay, this is no. Most times, most people are going to even reduce the amount. So it's the value you actually place on yourself that people are going to now take you as. So when the recruiter is going through your resume, you just see you started learning SQL last month and he just feels, okay, you're just a newbie. What you just learned was you're just trying to upskill yourself. You're not new to the industry, you're upskilling yourself into the industry. Okay, so those are two things that are really, really important and vital. So now get this correctly. It's not like you're trying to say things you have not done or you're lying. So get this and get this right. It's not as if you're lying or you're trying to create experiences you have not done. What we are simply doing is that we are simply translating what you already did into the language that the data hiring managers and businesses out there looking for data analysts are going to understand. So you're not just somebody that knows Power BI, you're a human resource expert who uses Power BI to save companies money on hiring. All right. So it's just you trying to translate things into what people actually understand. So there's a key takeaway now I want to give to you, and please pay attention to this. It's very, very important. So now, whenever somebody asks you, okay, they have seen your CV and the rest, they'll ask you to actually share your portfolio. Let me see things you have worked on. Now, this is something, and this is a mistake I see many people do. You'll be seeing people going to be downloading Titanic data set, this one data set. Like, nobody cares about a ship that sank since 1912 or something like that. Instead of you just going into some different where you see cartoons, data sets, projects, and all that, instead, go and create a project around your past industry, right? Find that industry you are and find the data in relation to the industry you are in. So just imagine you work in logistics now. You can just find a messy like supply chain like data set, and you can even use AI to be able to help you to clean and even write the code. Then you now with your domain knowledge, you can now be able to now present the report. And that's why you find some people when they head to interviews now, they are shaking, thinking like they'll be asking them to recite SQL query, what's the select statements used for, or how do you create a pivot table. No, when you're actually in the interview, you already have the domain knowledge. You're not going to be nervous or shaking about the tech tools. You'll be able to flow out because of you actually understand what is being done. So yes, I'm not saying that you don't understand the tech tools. You're going to understand the tech tools, and also too, using your past experience, you can be able to now deliver more. All right. So don't just go and take a random data set. Like we just open your portfolio, you see different random sports data sets, several other things like that. If the company you're trying to work for or the hiring manager like trying to even reach out to, when they go through your portfolio and they say, okay, most of your projects are in this industry, when you're over in the interview and you're speaking, you understand that you're going to actually have more context into what you are doing, and you're going to be sounding like an expert, not just as a newbie that is trying to get down. All right. So in summary, transitioning into tech is a mental game. The biggest hurdle isn't mastering SQL, Python, or Excel. You can actually get those online in a few weeks. There are lots of YouTube videos out there. The real hurdle is you believing that, okay, this my past experience I have is something vital. So stop looking at your previous career as a lost time. I just wasted my time in that job. If you look back at it, it was actually a training ground for you. You have years of communications, you have years of employee management, you have years of real world business that somebody that is just learning only the tool does not have. I actually want you to actually own your own narrative. You're not actually starting from scratch. You're just upgrading your tool set. Okay, you're learning a new software tools. You're just upgrading yourself. All right. So if this video opened your eyes, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, tell me what you have done in your past and how you are transitioning into the data space. Thank you.